Hello, this is the weekly update of Momo. Actually, it's been 2 weeks, but I've been pretty busy because I was going through some VC rounds and I was talking to a lot of investors trying to raise funding for Momo. Um, Long story short, I have been going through a lot of thoughts on how to take Momo the next step. And some of the things that I want to share with you guys is some main ideas on why most LLM startups are doomed or could be dead in the near future just because of Google and OpenAI trying to dominate everything. This is just going to be a quick video. There's not a lot of updates on Momo. We realized that we've been targeting the wrong audience for now. We've been testing it to users, subscribers who have subscribed to this channel and signed up for the waitlist. We got the feedback after testing it for about 2 weeks, and the feedback was that it might be too general, and we do need to refine a lot of quality on the quality aspects of the briefs. So, starting from this week, we've decided to target CEOs who already have hired executive assistants to help them with their workload in terms of scheduling or emails or whatever, everything that just they go through all the administrative tasks. Right now, we're targeting CEOs. We're trying to do a lot of user interviews with them, trying to see where the right PMF is, and we're trying to redefine the whole product as well. So that's what's going on right now. Continuing on what I've been thinking about why most LM startups are doomed is basically the concept that um, it's if you take a look at the previous technology waves, when the first, for example, the cloud platform came out, the companies that made this new tech didn't try to dominate everything in terms of the application layer. But if you look at LLMs and the new models and the generative AI sector right now, these companies that make these foundation models are also trying to tap into the application layer. So if you look at GPT or OpenAI, they're also releasing note-taking apps or just very consumer heavy apps just because they can do it, just because all the users are there, they have the data, and there is no reason why that they should not do it. So when it comes to startups, for example, if you're a startup like Granola that is making a note-taking app, then it's going to be very hard to succeed in the future just because OpenAI has so much more moat and so much more users and network and data. So then, how do you actually survive? That's the main question that I've been asking myself, and the question that I've been asking to other startup founders as well. In the end, I think you really need to go very, very vertical. Even if you are a B2C SaaS platform that is for consumer apps, you need to choose a really strong niche target audience. So if I say I'm going to make a personal AI assistant for the general audience, it's never going to work because OpenAI or Google will be doing that in the near future. That's why we have to target a very more specific target domain and a target audience that exists in that domain. So, for example, a very good example is Harvey, which specializes in acting like a assistant to lawyers and law firms. So another thing is that in the end, you would still have to make your own model. You would have to own your own data because now everything relies on the data. In the end, you're still calling APIs to LLMs that other foundational models made. So you need to have your own data and train it continuously on those models so that this model that you have for your company is very specific for your product. If OpenAI can just step in and make it with their own data, then you're not going to have a differentiator and you're going to die in the end. So that's another thing. And then that's why I think in the end, like your product also has to be some sort of infrastructure layer. I know it's going to be really hard to compete with the foundational models, but you do in the end have to have your own model so that whenever OpenAI releases a new model, you won't die. So some like really good questions that this author is asking us right now is, if your API access is revoked tomorrow, like how are you going to survive? How are you going to keep your product going? If you don't have a moat and if you're still model dependent, how are you going to keep going? And, what prevents OpenAI from doing this? So I think these are some really good questions that I should be asking to myself, and I think what all other startup founders should be asking to themselves. That's what I've been doing for the past week, redefining our users and trying to make it a more very, very niche market, niche domain, niche product. There's some other really good articles that I've been reading right now. So I've shared all of them in the Discord, but I can share them as well on YouTube. But this sort of graph shows which risk factor or which risk zone you're situated at. So zone 1 is text editing, summarization, text generation. Everything that is going to be OpenAI is going to be able to do that. Zone 2 is industry specific chats, but then you can still make this on GPT, or you can easily make that. OpenAI can easily make that. And then it comes to zone 3, which is medium risk, which is code generation tools or advanced video editing. These places are more domain specific, so you can think of Cursor, Windsurf, or Adobe Pro, Opus Clip, etc. And then zone 4 would be the very, very specific domains, the healthcare sector or Harvey financial industries, etc. Or tapping into an industry that has not been digitized, that digitization has not happened yet. So you're applying LLM onto that. So maybe that could have another potential opportunity there. So these were just like some quick thoughts that I was going through. This month, I think I'm still gonna be testing out on how I can redefine Momo and make it a better product. Last ask that I have for my subscribers is if any of you are CEOs for startups or a big company who is hiring executive assistant, I would love to have a coffee chat with you and a user interview to know how you guys are managing all your schedules and what kind of problems you have or pain points that you might have so that we can build a better solution for you. Thank you.